Hello and welcome to a Daily Burn. I'm your host, Erica Miller, joined today by another wonderful progressive candidate, this time running in the, uh, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, PA-03, Philadelphia, to be specific, Mr. Cole Carter. How you doing, Cole?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Excellent. Thanks for taking the
Awesome.
time to chat with me. I think I discovered you on Instagram.
Oh,
The primary that you're running in is May 19th, and I want to mention that a few times. And
sure.
it's actually kind of a crowded field. There's a bunch of people running, which is
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
The better
yeah.
than a robust
It's
primary.
exciting. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
very cool.
absolutely. The,
But I want to ask about the district and your policies, platforms, why the incumbent's terrible, and so forth, right? But
sure.
let me kind of ask, just a little bit about your background and what's your calling. Like, what has sort of led you to this point to be to run for office?
Sure. So I grew up in Philadelphia, and I grew up in this particular district within Philadelphia. And this district is made up of large swaths of poverty, to be frank. So we have within this district, North Philadelphia, Southwest Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, Germantown. It's a bunch of neighborhoods included in this district, and within all of those neighborhoods that I've listed are um, many impoverished neighborhoods. Philadelphia has been, saddled with poverty and the effects of poverty since I've been alive, and far longer as well. And the standard set of Democratic Party approaches to solving this or dealing with it have not necessarily done a good job. And so, um, you know, we've have a history of sort of punitive sort of approaches, trying to you know just solve the symptoms instead of the actual root causes. And what I wanted to do is to actually solve or attack the root causes of these problems. So we have a problem with crime often. Uh, but if we look at the crime problem, it's no secret that a lot of crime just comes about because people are poor. And so, uh, my approach has always been, why don't we just attack the root cause? What is causing people to commit crimes? Well, let's solve for that. In our case, you know, every so often we'll have a year where we have 400 murders or something like this. And it always is, let's round up as many people as we can, let's lock up as many people as we can, let's, punish as many people as we can, instead of saying, well, how about let's just solve the poverty problem, right?
Right.
And so this is what I want to do. I want to solve the poverty problem. And we haven't done this. A lot of people think that poverty is a natural thing. Poverty is a just a result of uh, just the natural machinations of capitalism. And what I want to say, and what I have been saying, is that it's not natural. This is a policy choice that we've been choosing to live with. We don't have to do this. We can make different policy choices instead of feeding mass incarceration and feeding, you know, policies like the war on drugs and stop and frisk. We could just say, how about we provide for people? If we provide for people, then we'll see that the despair and the hopelessness and desperation will just melt away. And by provide for people, what I mean is providing for providing people the means to provide for themselves, right? So this is why I have a policy, a federal jobs guarantee
Right.
policy. Um, you know, we have plenty of work to do in this country, and we have plenty of people who need work. And it seems to me to be the most natural thing in the world to pair both of these things together. Um, so, you know, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about attacking the root causes of poverty, attacking the root causes of crime.
Right on.
Let's solve the problem and give people jobs and get the added benefit of getting our roads and our bridges and our infrastructure repaired as we need them.
Yeah, here, here. Yeah, and I do want to dig into a little bit of your platform, and I'm glad you mentioned the federal jobs guarantee. That's, that doesn't get front and center nearly enough, right? So I'm glad you're highlighting that, and it's obviously something your district will benefit from greatly, right? So,
Yeah.
so you did mention your district. It is, it is Philly. It is a solidly blue district. I think I looked up the
Oh,
number,
yeah.
and it was D+40. So, it's one of those things. The incumbent is a Democrat. It's Dwight Evans, right?
I'm sorry, you cut out just slightly bit. Solidly blue district is the last part I heard.
Yeah, no, it's a solidly blue district. The incumbent is Dwight Evans, who's a Democrat.
Yeah.
But in a solidly blue district, people centered, platform focused candidate, we should go as far left as possible, basically, right?
I
So,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. This is a +40 seat or district, and so we're not going to lose anybody going as far left as we can. And I think that yes, Dwight Evans is the current incumbent, and he's done a good job as far as being a standard Democrat goes. But I think that what we can do is shoot for a little bit more. I think that what we can do is, and what we need to do is go, a couple of steps. Further than the standard Democrat approach. What I'm asking for, and what my platform is called, is the New Deal for Philadelphia. I think what we're ripe for, especially in this time, and what we need, not just in the city but across the country, is an FDR style approach to recover from what the what the Republicans are set to do to the country. And we need the kind of robust set of social policies and social safety net policies that we saw in the New Deal to be applied in this case, because people are tired of being told that government can only help out the rich and only help out the super wealthy.
right.
You know,
Yeah. As you go with your platform, you're going to hear the standard questioning, right? Your platform, you have Medicare for all, you have cancel student debt, and the age old question is always pushback from the establishment is always, how are you going to pay for it, right?
yeah,
Which is always ridiculous, right? But there's never how you're going to pay
I
for it
agree.
when you want a gold ballroom, or to kidnap
Exactly.
or whatever, right?
Yeah, and a flight, just a flight on a military uh, fighter jet is going to cost $1 million, right? So anyway, the way that we're going to pay for this is by taxing the people who have the money, right? The people who are the wealthiest in society, and it's only fair because the work that we do and the taxes that we have paid for the roads that their commerce is conducted across. The interstate commerce is conducted across. It's paid for the research that created the internet. It's paid for all of the research that created the satellites and all of this sort of infrastructure. And so you don't get to just use all of the labor of workers, and then to make yourself obscenely wealthy, and then say, well, we don't have to give back. Of course you do. You were given a opportunity to get this wealthy, and it's only fair to then pay it forward by giving back to the society that allows you to get this wealthy. So yeah, we're gonna have a wealth tax. This is what I'm going to be pushing for, and I know that other progressives are also pushing for it. So. Yeah.
Fantastic. I will point out once again, your primary is May 19th, and your website is Call Carter 2026, right?
Yes.
And just by virtue of having you on Daily Bern, you do not take corporate PAC money. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you, right?
Not at all. No.
The reason I say that is, Cole, like every other guest I have on, needs $5, $10, $20. Share this post, like your socials. It's a people-powered campaign, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
Yes.
that's one way that anyone can get involved. And I do want to point out, because it's a hot issue, is Dwight Evans. I looked him up on AIPAC Tracker, and it looked like he's taken about 34K of AIPAC money, right? You do not take any AIPAC money.
No, not not at all. And I never would. So AIPAC is. I don't know why this is only now become an issue. To me, this is always been problematic. A lobbyists of all kinds are problematic, but especially those that represent foreign countries. This is true for any foreign country. There should not be any lobbying group that exists that can ostensibly coordinate with foreign governments, and like this is a obscene on its face. And so this should be a no-brainer for politicians, I think, to just say absolutely not to that sort of thing. But I think that we should also be looking at the relationship of all lobbyists. Any candidate that takes corporate PAC money, or even some special interest ideological PAC money. We should be scrutinizing all of the funds that a candidate receives. And so if we're not, getting it from grassroots means, then it's likely suspect in some way, I would say. So I think that we need to, ask more of our candidates, ensure that, they're not taking any AIPAC money, but there are all sorts of other kinds of PACs that we should be looking into as well.
Yeah, here. I like that you say it's likely suspect. Like you're being polite.
Yeah.
Right. So let me talk about Medicare for All. That's a policy you also
Sure.
support. Let me just sort of talk about that, if you would.
Sure. Yes. We absolutely need Medicare for All. It's this is what we should have gotten when said we got the ACA. And we have the opportunity now to actually follow through and make this real. Hopefully, because of the we're likely to, fingers crossed, we're likely to win the House in 26, and I assume there are going to be a number of progressives also who win their districts as well, and we'll probably have enough votes to actually tackle implementing Medicare for All. And so that'll be a good thing. If not, then it's going to be incumbent upon the voters to call as many of their representatives as possible to ensure that we actually get this done, because there's no reason why we should be messing with middlemen and like the insurance companies. There's a our health is one of the functions that the government should be able to provide. It's adjacent to safety, and so I would say it's a responsibility of the government to be able to provide for the health of its citizens, just like it is its responsibility to provide safety for its citizens. And so this is a no-brainer. We have to get this done.
Here. Yeah, and it's just to reiterate, I didn't look up Dwight Evans's donors in terms of healthcare, but sort of a do-nothing Democrat, if you will, has been obstructive to Medicare for All, right? So to your point, Cole, that's why we need folks like you pushing for it unapologetically, uncorrupted by big farm, big insurance, and so forth, right? So
Yeah.
So again,
we have
a
candidate.
So again, website Cole Carter 2026, primary May 19th. I just want to get that a few times.
Sorry. Sure. We have a doctor running in this race who has said that they were going to take that they would be willing to take pharmaceutical money, lobbyist money, and insurance money, which is, I think that's pretty strange. I think that's, I, yeah. So
don't vote for
hopefully
that.
people don't vote for that person. I would say.
Right. Don't vote for that fool. May 19th, 2026. So let me ask you about your position on ICE, abolishing ICE and prosecuting ICE and so forth. Talk about that if you would.
Sure. So yes, I definitely agree with. We need to abolish ICE. The agency is not needed, and so if we just step back and think about what immigration issues are, or immigration offenses are, these are civil offenses. These are not criminal offenses. And so, when someone is in violation of immigration status, they get taken to not even a real court. They get taken to a administrative court in front of a not even real judge, an administrative judge, right? And so these courts, in quotes, and judges, in quotes, these are people who are executive branch employees, right? This is not like a separate branch like the judiciary, like a real judge in court would be. And so we do not need guns to enforce, bringing people to a fake court in front of a fake judge for non-real criminal offenses. They're civil offenses. And so it makes zero sense that we have a paramilitary to do this. And so, just by understanding this, we can understand how insane it is that we do have a paramilitary conducting its activities, especially in a manner that it has been masked and, armed to the teeth. And so I call for the abolishment of ICE. If we want to tackle if we want to say that immigration is a problem, and unauthorized immigration is a problem, then we have to understand, why are people coming here? They're coming here for work, right? Oftentimes they're coming because there's a difference between the economic potential that they have in their country versus here. But if that's the case, then the people who are coming here aren't the problem. It's the people who hire them, right, at the rates that they do. And so if we really actually cared about this problem, wouldn't we instead punish the people who hire the unauthorized immigrants? But obviously, that's not the policy. And I'm not saying that this is a problem, but what I am saying is we're taking the wrong approach to solve. If there were a problem, we're taking the wrong approach to solve it, because it's a supply and demand issue, and not people are just want to come here for no reason. They come here for work, right? So, yeah, we need to.
They're actually a lot of times they're fleeing the results of our imperialistic adventures in the.
This is true, right? If you're a refugee or seeking asylum, and yes, absolutely, and then especially so, we shouldn't be, doubly traumatizing them with a paramilitary meant to bring people to a hearing in an administrative court. So.
Yeah, let me go you one further. I'll slightly challenge you on that.
Sure.
I don't think it's a good faith. I think they're just bad faith actors, right? So I think it's, I think there's basically bigotry and racism behind it. I think it's just motivated by that, largely, right? So,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is what allows it to function, and allows it to go unchecked. But the agency has existed for about 20 years now, a little more than 20 years now, and we purport to have a problem with, you know, an open border or whatever it is, whatever the claim is at the time. And so, sure, it's bigotry and racism that enables the acts to be committed, but the agency kind of exists outside of that. It exists to solve a fake problem. And the fake problem is one that is caused by, we have a need for, let's say, cheap agriculture, the byproducts of doing agriculture, cheap farming. And so our farmers hire people to work on our farms, but then we penalize the people who come to work on our farms and hunt them down. So,
big ad, right?
But or in any number of industries, and so if we really cared about them coming here, then we would say, well, you're not allowed to do that. That's illegal. So stop doing that, or you'll go to jail. But we don't do that. We punish the people who come and work on the farms, right? Or whatever the industry is. So, yeah, I agree with you that it's definitely racism, and that enables us to be cruel to them, unleashing ice upon them. But why does the agency exist in the first place? Like, why would we ever need such a thing? And I would say it's just because we have like a confusion about who we should be targeting if we were to want to solve a problem like this.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and the industry is what's paying to target. Right. There's for-profit prisons. There's the military industrial complex. That's who's that's the side versus the the refugees. The people fleeing. They don't have that lobbyist. They don't have that big money behind them, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and yes, we have the perverse incentive of private prisons existing, and that also is a thing that we need to get rid of. Private prisons and especially contracting with them at the federal level. That should absolutely be illegal because we know how capitalism works. We know that. A CEO of a private prison has a fiduciary responsibility to the company that he works for, and therefore he will or she will, act in the interest to get more prisoners. Right? That's their responsibility. Right? So because of that, we should not be allowing for such perverse incentives to exist, especially not at the federal level.
Here. Yeah, and ICE is recently standing up these detention centers, concentration camps. There's one in Bern County, and that's there's for-profit motive behind every single one of those, no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This is just insane. And let's also think about what is the point of a detention center? A detention center is there purportedly because we need to get people in front of immigration judges, but because of how long it takes and the number of people that are who need to be seen in front of an immigration judge, we need some place to hold them until they get a chance to see the immigration judge. This is the idea behind this, and so once again, I think if we just understand that these are civil offenses, we will see how absurd it is that we have people in detention centers, right? Why are we holding people in a detention center? Let's think of other civil offenses. A traffic ticket. I don't know, child support, whatever the landlord-tenant issues. Should you be in a detention center? Well, first, should you be picked up by a paramilitary, taken to a detention center and, held there for however long until you're seen by a fake judge because you didn't pay your rent on time? This doesn't make any sense. It's just insane.
I'm starting to think their motives are bad faith, Cole. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is,
Let me. I want to ask about kind of growth, like one of your policies, sort of a standard progressive policy, and I'm glad you're vocal on it and fighting for it. Again, Cole Carter, 2026, is canceling student debt. I'm sure this is and public education more broadly, right?
absolutely.
So,
Mhm.
talk about that. Talk about what that would look like in your district.
Sure. So our district has, about three. We have a lot of colleges in our district, but think of the University of Pennsylvania, Temple University, Drexel University, um, Eastern University. We have lots of colleges, and we have lots of college students. Um, a big portion of the economy within Philadelphia is driven by the universities. University of Pennsylvania is one of the top employers, if not the top employer. And so college and college students are a big part of the economy. And, you know, unfortunately, student debt is, hampering and slowing down the ability for college students to actually make a life in Philadelphia, be able to afford a home. A lot of times after college now, you have to go live with your parents again because you can't actually make a life for yourself. And so I think what would happen is if we were to, um, cancel student debt, we'd give the people who were promised, if you go to college, everything is going to turn out right. We'll make good on that promise. We'll actually see people starting to flourish, the economy starting to flourish, people being able to settle down in Philadelphia. A lot of times they'll have to, they go out of town back to their parents' house, in the suburbs or something to live. They'd be able to actually make a life in Philadelphia. This would increase the funds available to stimulate the economy. And so I see nothing but wins with respect to allowing for people to have more money in their pocket so that they can spend more. Um, and it also will allow people to build wealth, right? Because for every dollar that you're giving to, let's say, the federal government to pay back student loans, you could be investing in a business, you could be investing in a home, you could be, you know, just pursuing
Just just
your
investing in your
pursuits.
quality of life. Yeah, just investing in your
Exactly.
quality of life. Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Um,
So I think this is a necessity, and that's why I'm calling for um, canceling student debt, but also for free tuition. So, from pre-K all the way up to a bachelor's degree, I think that we should be returning back to what we used to have, which was free college across the country. We've done it before, we can do it again, and if this is a thing that we say is required in order to have a middle class life, then we should be providing the means for it. We get the money back in terms of the economic stimulus from people having money and spending it. We get it back by, you know, just people not leaving and having brain drain. You know, this is a no brainer to me.
Brilliant. I love it. Let me ask, is there anything else, sort of policy? We covered a bunch of things, right? Anything else
Mhm,
specific to PA-03 that is
mhm.
maybe something you're passionate about or you want to highlight that we didn't cover?
Absolutely. So I am calling for free universal free childcare. And so I used to be a subsidized childcare case manager. So if you can't afford childcare, and many people can't because it is very, very expensive. Um, Pennsylvania has a program where you can get subsidized help with this program or get help with childcare. And so I used to be a case manager that helped people determine whether or not they would be able to get this help. And what I noticed is almost everyone in the city qualified for this, right? Like a whole lot of people qualified for this. What that means is that there's a great need. Number one, because childcare costs so much, But number two, because we don't provide very much help, right? Like even when somebody was able to get subsidized child care, it was still too much for them to afford, right? And that's because people don't make a lot of money. And so what we have to do, I think, is provide free childcare, or the means to provide free childcare. This will also enable people to work, because the number one thing that I remember mothers, this is the group I spoke to the most. Mothers would have childcare as the number one impediment to being able to get a job. So if they couldn't get childcare, then they wouldn't be able to start the job that they had just got an offer for. And if they didn't do that, then then they're stuck at home, and they're stuck on other subsidies, right? They're not able to ever get out of the cycle of needing support. Whereas if you were able to get free childcare, then you don't have to worry about is my child going to be taken care of? Can I ensure that they'll be in a safe environment while I work? So this is a thing that I think that we absolutely need, and that's why that's high up on the list of policies
Awesome.
that I
Excellent.
think we need to.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for highlighting that too. So let me ask, so again, it's Cole Carter 2026. Primary is May 19th. It's a crowded primary, but Cole is uncorrupted, doesn't take corporate PAC money. You heard his platform, very people-centric. You're not going to be a John Fetterman on us and get elected.
No,
Right.
no, absolutely not. I don't know what happened there, but
Yeah, that's a whole other. We'll do that. We'll have that meeting afterwards, right? But
yeah,
so how can I'm assuming you take donations. You have a
absolutely.
canvassing operation, phone banking. How can people help?
Yeah, so either time or money. This is a thing that is very helpful. We are a grassroots organization. That means that we rely on grassroots donations or grassroots volunteers. We have over 1,000 people who've signed up to volunteer, and we could always use more. And we're also accepting donations on my website to help fund reaching more voters. We do phone banking. In fact, we have a phone banking session happening right now.
Right. Cool.
Phone banking, we do. We'll be doing canvassing. We have to get on the ballot starting next week, so we'll have the need for people to help us get signatures on the ballot. So yeah, there are plenty of opportunities for people to help, and I would love for anybody who has the capacity to help.
Awesome. And I'll just throw this in too. I've said it on other episodes, but it bears repeating, right? So particularly for a progressive candidate that doesn't take big money, every little bit helps. But even the sooner in the race, it helps, right? So the more canvassing you do, the more signatures you get, the more you're on the ballot, right? If you're waiting till the end, it doesn't have as much value. The sooner you can donate. And again, your primary is May 19th, right? So, we're kind of coming up on it. It'll be here sooner than we think, right? So the sooner you can donate to a guy like Cole,
Absolutely.
more bang for your buck you get, if you will, right? Or the more outreach, like and share this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, sometimes, a lot of times, participation in candidate forums and things like this are gated by how much have you raised. And so that is one reason why it is encouraged to, donate early if you can, because if you can show the strong, fundraising numbers, then people will take you seriously and invite you to debates and things.
Here. Well, I appreciate you stepping up and running. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me. Anything that we didn't hit on that you want to cover?
Well, we hit on the federal jobs guarantee, which I think is absolutely a necessity. Universal free child care. Also want to have universal free elder care as well. I think this is a very important thing.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing that people talk about much, but Also, I want to expand Medicare. I think that the fact that we don't cover teeth, eyes, and hearing is insane. We need to also expand Medicare to cover these things as well. This shouldn't be an out-of-pocket expense for seniors. So.
Here. Teeth are luxury bones at some point, right? I saw that meme
Absurd.
Ridiculous, right?
Absurd.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I look forward to chatting with you again after you make it through the primary and you're in the general, right, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then January 2027, when you're in office, I look forward to chatting with you again. So Cole Carter 2026 primary is May 19th. Like and subscribe to his socials. Share this. Follow him. Share his posts. Get the word out. Donate if you can. Phone bank. Go knock on some doors. Guys like Cole need our help to reclaim the house. So thank you for running. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me today, sir.
Thank you for having me.